Okay, so a big characteristic of similarity is that when you say two figures are similar, it really just means, so there's a few things, right? So a big one is proportionality, right? So when two figures are similar, it also means that they are proportional. Now, proportional, a definition of that would be two figures that are proportional have a constant ratio to another quantity. And that's just kind of a textbook definition. And just to further go into this, we talk about ratio. A ratio, definition of a ratio, is just a relation, we'll say a fractional, typically you'll see it as a fraction, a fractional relation comparing two quantities. Usually you will see it as a fraction, not all the time, but usually you will. Okay, so a fractional relation between two quantities, that's a ratio. So let's say we have a picture. Okay, so you go to the store, maybe you get a picture printed, and it's a 4 by 6 inches, 4 inches by 6 inches, and maybe you want to scale it up. Scaling it up just means you're gonna multiply all the sides by something, and if it's bigger, you're enlarging it. It just means you're going to multiply it so that each side is bigger. Okay, so let's say we scaled it up, and let's say maybe it is, this is an easy example, let's say you wanted it bigger, 12 by 18 inches. Okay, so foot by a foot and a half. So, and let's say you took this picture home, 4 by 6, you got it enlarged to 12 by 18, and you maybe weren't sure that it was actually proportional. And so you could check this. There's a few ways that you could do this. You could just take, and this is probably one of the easier ways, actually they're all pretty easy, but you could just take the new picture and the old picture, right? And we think about scale factor. Well, scale factor, we talked about in the previous section. Scale factor is just the new divided by the old. And you have to keep the corresponding parts. Corresponding parts just means if you are looking at this side, you have to match it up with the same side on the other picture, on the old picture. So you have to keep the parts matching, corresponding. So we could take the new 18, divide it by the old 6, and then all you got to do is simplify. This right here is a ratio. You're comparing two quantities, 18 inches of the new over 6 inches of the old, which if you simplify is going to be 3. Okay, so it's just going to be 3. That's what we call a scale factor. So let's just double check the other sides. And if it's proportional, then all the other sides will have a scale factor of 3 as well. So we'll match up the 12 inches and the 4 inches right here. So let's go ahead and do, well, I already wrote new over old. So this is the other one. We wrote 12 inches over 4 inches. And we simplify, you're going to see that that's going to equal 3 as well. So our scale factor is 3. And if you look at, those are the two dimensions that we have, it's a scale factor of 3. Now, that's proportionality. Another way of thinking about proportionality is this. If you were to take 4, well, what could you multiply that by to get 12? Well, you know that's going to be times 3, right? 4 times 3 is 12. Do the same thing. 6 times what is equal to 18? Well, that's going to be times 3 as well. So that just means it's another way of double checking your scale factor. When two figures are proportional, they're going to have the same scale factor no matter what dimension you're looking at. The length to the length, the old length to the new length, old width to the new width, it's going to be the same scale factor. You're just multiplying it by the same number no matter what dimension you're looking at. And that's the basic idea of proportionality, where we're going to talk about this on how to solve certain equations when it comes to similar figures, and that'll be in the next video.